sure you've assessed by now that because you're at the scrapyard, that means that you'll be harvesting the steel that you need to make signature blades in your signature style from the scrap around you. And you'll also be using these coal forges. Additionally, you must include a hidden tang design in your blade shape. Good luck. Your 4 hours starts now.
The hardest part about choosing some sort of recyclable material is you want to make sure it's good quality steel that can be hardened.
Let's do this. Todd's coming back with a pretty wide piece of steel right there. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, it's a mower blade.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge brush hog blade.
Yeah, that's a great choice. More than likely 5160 also.
Picking a metal is going to represent a little bit of a challenge because some of the steel could have had a really rough history, which could include microfractures. You don't see these things, but they can reveal themselves whenever you do the heat treat.
Michael's got a pry bar.
Is that going to be a high carbon content?
It depends. We've had some that were really good. We've had some that were sketchy. I like watching the different smiths. Some of them are cranking like maniacs. You got Jack over here who's going nice and slow and steady. That's one of the things about coal. You spend almost as time maintaining your fire as you do working on your steel. I'm gonna be blowing by now.
I'm having a little trouble. I'm not able to get the airflow right.
He either doesn't have his air vent opened up at the base.
What the heck?
He's not getting air through that.
Come on. Stay up. Air leakage, the bottom. This is the ultimate test. Is to see what you can do under pressure against whatever odds are thrown to you. I'm a little nervous.
Funny watching Leland. Looks like you don't have a care in the world. Like, okay, this is a Saturday afternoon in the backyard.
The simple device I use to maintain a consistent thickness, I call it a kiss block. The kiss block limits the downward travel of the hammer against the hot and pliable stock.
That way he's not going to have issues with deep hammer marks later on.
At this point, I'm having to do many more heats than I normally do to get the tang stretched out. Now it's too long, so I cut it off. Disastrous. Drew it out some more.
So it looks like Jack's going back after that tang.
Spent over an hour hammering on that.
Yeah, he's a tangaholic.
He's a tangaholic.
I'm about to quench. Trying to get my blade to about 1450 degrees. I'm concerned about warping my blade.
Bladesmiths, you have just 30 minutes remaining to finish your work. Yeah.
Getting tired.
And there's a part of it that's a little soft. I know I need a second quench, and I know that I don't have enough time to be able to heat this blade totally up again. So I'm just gonna do an edge quench. This has to work. It's a go or no go right now.
So to make myself stand out in this challenge, I am going to pull a lot of little tricks. So I go off to the scrap piles, and I find a couple pieces of angle iron, and I stack them down the middle of my forge.
Michael's actually made himself a heating chamber. So instead of sliding back and forth and playing with it, he'll have 360 degrees of heat around that blade. He puts that in there, gets it nice and even for a quench.
Now I've got the form that I'm gonna be using. It's time to harden it. And guess what? My fire's gone out. Is it stressful seeing the coal completely out? No.
Leland's struggling to get a fire going here.
At this point, it's real difficult not to panic, but since I tested the steel, I am sure it's gonna work in the heat treat.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machines and drop your tools. This round is over. We will be reconvening back at our forge where the judges will evaluate your work.
All right, Bladesmiths, welcome to our forge. Now that your blades have been forged, it's time for the judges to take a look at your work. Jack, you're up first. Please present your blade to the judges.
Overall, your blade is solid looking. The tang is slightly off from the blade, but it's got that sax look to it.
You were moving steel pretty good, but most of it was back here. I saw you draw out that tang. You shortened it up twice, didn't you?
Yes.
It's still pretty thick.
Michael, you're up. Please present your work to the judges.
Well, Michael, you got the proportions on this very nice. Definitely like to see you thin this out some, make it a little bit lighter, but overall, nicely done.
Well, you forged this beautifully. You did a lot of finish work with your forging. It was good watching your work. Thank you.
Todd, you're up.
Well, Todd, for the test, we're doing bone chops. It's good to see a spine that can back that up. Good job, sir.
Thank you.
It's good work. Your blade's very sharp, and I think of all of our blades, you have the most defined actual edge on yours.
Thank you.
Leland.
What I'm seeing is there's a little bit of a warp, and it doesn't just warp, but twists a little bit.
You got a nice thick tang to work with. I got one question for you, though. Why is the spine and the edge the same thickness?
I presumed I would address that with later grinding.
Okay.
Bladesmiths. As a group, these are the best blades we've ever had come out of a round one where cold forges were used. The judges' deliberation is complete, and they've made a final decision. The bladesmith who's leaving the forge is Leland. Your blade did not make the cut.
You know, Leland, it was a pleasure watching you work. Your control of the steel and the fire was amazing to watch. But during your quench, you developed a warp in your blade, and the fact that when I file checked it, there's a soft spot in the center that didn't harden properly. And those are the reasons we're sending you home.
Leland, please surrender your blade.
I feel disappointed. I should have been more careful about my heat treating, but I'm elated at having been here. Has my love of blade making increased because of this? Absolutely. I'm not moving on, but I feel like I'm moving forward, and I'll take that.